In this lecture, we're going to explore arithmetic operators for numbers. In the resource section of this lecture, I provide a link to a documentation page on arithmetic operators. PHP supports basic mathematical operations. Addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division can be performed with PHP. This documentation page displays a complete list of operators for performing these operations. Let's give them a try by heading over to our project. I'm going to replace the echo statement with a variable called data. It'll hold the following value: 1 plus 2 minus 3 asterisk 4 slash 5. In this example, I'm using some of the arithmetic operators. The other operators will be introduced in a moment. Most of the operators are self-explanatory. The plus character performs addition. The minus character performs subtraction. The asterisk character performs multiplication. And lastly, the slash character performs division. Similar to math, the order of operations is applicable to our equation. PHP performs multiplication, followed by division, addition, and subtraction. The result will be stored in the variable. This is important to understand. PHP always executes mathematical operations before assigning a value to a variable. Take a moment to figure out the value that will be computed by this equation. Let's log the value with the variable dump function. As you can see, the data type has been set to float with a value of 0.6. The value is abnormal. Technically, the result should be 0.6. There shouldn't be a chain of zeros after the number. So, why are we receiving an abnormal value? First, let's revisit the concept of machine code. Machine code is a low-level language understood by machines. Everything is written with zeros and ones. As you can probably guess, machine code can be a nightmare to read and write. While it's possible to create applications with machine code, it would take a lot of work to create a simple app. For this reason, programming languages were introduced. Readability is the goal of most languages on the web. At the end of the day, our computers can't understand any programming language except machine code. It doesn't matter if you're using PHP, C++, or JavaScript. All programming languages cannot be understood by a machine. Converting a language to another language is known as compilation. Programming languages can use a compiler or interpreter to perform this process. In the case of PHP, an interpreter is used to perform this process. While there are differences between a compiler and an interpreter, those differences don't matter to us for the time being. The result is the same. Our PHP code is being compiled into machine code. After it's been compiled into machine code, our machines can execute the instructions written from our script. So, you may be wondering, why is this process important to know? Unfortunately, the compilation process is not perfect. PHP struggles with decimal values. Whenever working with decimal numbers, PHP tends to round your values incorrectly. In the resource section of this lecture, I provide a link to a site called Floating Point Guide. Issues with floating numbers are not specific to PHP. If you decide to switch to another language, you're likely to encounter this issue. This site is a helpful resource for developers to understand why floats are a problem. You don't have to read it. My explanation is more than enough to understand why this behavior occurs. However, if you're curious for more information, this resource can provide additional details. In the future, we're going to explore solutions for addressing these issues. For now, we'll leave the results alone. Back in our project, let's explore the other arithmetic operators. For the data variable, replace the value with the following equation: 11% 2. The percent character is known as the modulo operator. Sometimes, you may not be able to divide numbers perfectly. It's always possible that you may have a remainder. The modulo operator performs division, but it doesn't return the result. It returns the remainder. In this example, the remainder is 1, which is shown in the preview. It seems like a strange operator, but this operator is useful when trying to check if numbers are evenly divisible or detecting odd numbers. The last operator that I want to show you is the exponentiation operator. As the name suggests, it allows us to perform exponentiation with numbers. Let's replace the data variable's value once more with the following value, 10 asterisk asterisk 2. The exponentiation operator is performed with 2 asterisk characters. It's not to be confused with the multiplication operator, which is just 1 asterisk. The number on the left side of the operator is considered to be the base, whereas the number on the right is the exponent. If we look at the preview, we get 100. Perfect. There's one more thing I want to discuss before moving on. I'm going to revert the value of the data operator to the first equation we had at the beginning of the lecture. As we learned earlier, the order of operations is applied to our equation. We have the option of changing the order of operations by using parentheses. For example, let's wrap the middle numbers with a pair of parentheses. By doing so, PHP calculates the value from within the parentheses before executing the other portions of the equation. By adding these parentheses, a completely different result gets produced. You can fine-tune your equations with this simple syntax. As long as you know basic math operations, you shouldn't have a problem with them in PHP. In the next lecture, let's continue exploring other operators.